Hi Splatoonies and welcome to my Splatoon Iceberg video. In this video we're going to be going down the iceberg. I'm sure by now everybody knows how icebergs work, but let's explain it for the newcomers. You may have seen these memes around. It starts off with the sort of information that everybody knows, very common things, and then as you slowly go down each tier of the iceberg until it gets more dark and obscure. Okay, let's start off with tier 1. Boomi. Boomi the Squid is a dancing inkling from GG Gabriel Jaming's videos, and is much beloved in the older Splatoon fanbase, although many people come to see it as cliched, old, and outdated. Laughing Sculpture. The laughing sculptures are a bizarre phenomenon which happens in Splatoon 1 on the stage Museum de Alfonsino. During Splatfests, recordings of childlike laughter could be heard coming from these statues for no discernible reason. It was definitely very creepy to witness. All kinds of theories and speculations have come out about this, but nothing is known so far. Definitely an odd phenomenon. Europe's Spike is named George. You may know that the Splatoon 1 release saw a different localization in Europe than it did in North America. One of these changes was that they changed Spike's name to George. However, in Splatoon 2, it only got one English release. The name is corrected, which is very jarring for European fans of Splatoon. It is not known why they decided to change this, as it seems like a very strange name to name a sea urchin. Judd Evil. It may seem from the final Splatfest that Judd seems to take no side in good or evil. However, in a lot of source materials, it is suggested and hinted at that he may in fact be quite evil, that he is plotting on killing and murdering all of Inkling kind. It was stated in a graphic posted both to Squid Lab and available for purchase periodically from My Nintendo rewards that Judd thinks the Inklings look very tasty. It was also revealed in a passage in Hectocatilis Walker that Judd is indeed plotting things against the Inklings. Tier 2. Dead Nomida. Nomida is a character which features in Squid Squad, the main band in Splatoon 1. However, in Splatoon 2, it is shown that Ikan, another member from Squid Squad, had split off from the band and joined Warabi to make Despair. This in of itself is quite innocent and fine. However, a passage in Hectocatilis Walker states that there may have been some underhanded methods in which he chose to break up the band. I think that this was a little bit too dark for Squid Lab to include, but I suppose they aren't planning on translating Hectocatilis Walker to English anytime soon. Gina survives? It is seen in one of the Splatoon 3 trailers that Gina, the main Inkling, fucking dies. She just fucking eats it. On the ground, fucking dead. However, in the next trailer we see her, waking up, and it is almost like she survived. In fact, it looks entirely like she survived. However, many fans speculate that perhaps she is in fact a zombie, not unlike the sanitization. Perhaps Commander Tartar, who is definitely in command of this game, had something to do with this. Apparently, and maybe the sanitization effects have been perfected, which means that Gina in fact survives. 2 Callies theory. This is a very popular fan theory that there are 2 Callies who keep tag teaming. In fact, this theory gains some credence in the Art vs. Science Splatfest, in which Marie says, and I quote, "Pretty hypocritical for you to be against science, Callie, especially when your clones have been running around." To which Callie just says, "What? You weren't, I don't know what you're talking about." Pretty suspicious, Callie. Craig and Octavio X's. This is basically canon. It hasn't been said outright, but in one of the interviews, Squid Lab researchers say that it was planned to be in the game itself that Craig and Octavio used to be married. However, they went through a messy divorce. Tier 3. Craig sucked dry. This is based off of a passage in the Splatoon 2 art book which states that Craig was dried out, and that's how he lived so long. It could also be implied from the original Japanese text. Octavio accidentally sucked him dry during an intense session. I'm sure that they don't mean, you know. However, fans have taken this very far because it's indeed a very funny passage to read. Agents 5, 6, and 7. This one refers to how there is no Agent 5, 6, or 7. It goes straight from Agent 4 to Agent 8, and it's very strange that in Splatoon 3, they choose to go back to 3. Some speculate that it is because it is Splatoon 3 and it makes sense for Agent 3. However, others suggest that perhaps Agents 5 and 6 are Pearl and Marina, and maybe Agent 7 and Agent 9 will be the next idols of the new game. Maria's sex jokes. This one refers to some rather, not quite PG implications in some of the lines of dialogue which Marie has in the Splatoon 2 overworld. I'm not going to read these out loud, but you can see on screen for yourself exactly how intense these can get. Octopus Balls. This one I had to ask my friend Pep, who knows all about Octopus Balls. They study them quite intently all of the time. This one refers to the strange things which Octavio shoots from his giant mecha in the Splatoon 2 boss fight. Are they alive? What are those tentacles coming from them? It's very odd and very disturbing. So a lot of people find this quite unnerving. 4 is third wheel. This one is how Agent 4 is always the third wheel. No matter what Agent 8 and Agent 3 are doing, Agent 4 is never allowed in. Did you even see Agent 4 in the Splatoon 3 trailers? Despicable. Disgusting. Give Agent 4 some chances. SplatTim marketing campaign. This one refers to a hilarious choice that Squid Lab US on Tumblr decided to take, in which they started retweeting all kinds of SplatTipMark. However, people found it not so funny, and they complained that they were trying to be too hip, and so they mass deleted all of the posts. It was certainly a dark scar on the Splatoonus timeline. Tier 3. Pearl kills the player. If you provoke Pearl through the glass too many times by staring at her, she will burst out of the chair, and she will smash through the glass and kill your player. The game will then softlock until you restart the whole switch. This, of course, isn't real. This was a hack and a hoax made by the user Jumble352 for April Fool's Day. However, it did fool quite a lot of children into trying to do this, and they spent ages trying to rack up the 50 glares. Bald hairstyle. In the Splatoon 2 art book, many hairstyles were shown. However, one which many users found very amusing was one in which the character was just straight up bald, with a very shiny head. It was theorized that this was then reused for Craig Cuttlefish in Splatoon 3, but I think it is just a coincidence. However, I would like to see the bald hairstyle return for Splatoon 3 and become an actual hairstyle. It looks so good. Bad Mama Jama. This infamous title comes from the Squid Lab Tumblr account. In reference to Splatoon 2 marketing, they call the enemy Octolings Bad Mama Jamas. This term makes a reappearance in Octo Expansion when talking about sanitized Octolings. It is so funny. Emperor Squid Squad track. To advertise the Emperor gear, CoroCoro Comics created this short video in which they show off the gear. However, the track in the background it does not appear in any of the Splatoon games or DLC, and it is not included in any kind of concert or otherwise. It sounds exactly like a Squid Squad track, which leads to many people speculating. What is this track? Was it created for the advert? Is it a coincidence? Was it cutting room floor material? And is there a longer version of this song? Tier 5. Oyster Huzuki. This refers to Pearl's father, who was revealed in, once again, Hikawa Walker. He is a pathetic little man with a gross little mustache, and I think that we should all take turns kicking him in the nuts. Agent 4 Ghost. A lot of people claimed that in one of the early Splatoon 3 trailers, you could see the ghost of Agent 4 in the background. However, this seemed to be a very dark turn, and I'm sure that it is simply her reflection, and not actually Agent 4's ghost. It would be way too dark of Splatoon to kill off Agent 4, especially after she just starred in the last game. Plus, I think I speak for all of us when I say we would really love to see more Agent 4 content, so I definitely hope that it is not her ghost, and that she is not dead. Malaysian Blood Ink localization. There was a mistake in the Malaysian localization of Splatoon, in the disruptor subtext on the menu, which accidentally implied that instead of the quote-unquote bodily fluids of a certain creature, they accidentally had changed it to mean the blood of the creature. This scared many fans and became quite infamous in the Malaysian Splatoon community for how shocking and horrific it seems to be. But luckily, it was simply a mistake, and there's no such thing as blood bombs, I hope. Octaviocum Vessel. This one is self-explanatory. The substance in which Octavio is trapped in is not actually water. After all, why would it be water? That does not make sense. He would explode instantly, being an octoling as we have seen in the Sunken Scrolls. Octopuses release these things called spermatophores, which are more like globules and capsules, or packets, of sperm. And this is actually what fills up the vessel in order to keep him gently immobilized so that he cannot move freely through the globe. Hectocatilis. The Hectocatilis is an adapted arm in octopuses, which, you know, Tier 6, why are you still here? Inkling penis grill marks. This refers to a secret scene which you can only unlock in Splatoon if you have your credit card and a link to your Nintendo account. This assumes that the player is over the age of 18. You get to see Craig Cuttlefish in all of his glory, and you can see on his penis there seems to be grill marks identical to a grilled squid. Oatmeal Dome Secret Splatfest. Oatmeal Dome is one of the many accounts which data mine the games and find all of the different alternate Splatfest dialogues. However, what is shocking is that they found metadata for a secret Splatfest. Not much is known about this, and it seems that the Splatfest teams were a default 0001 and 0002, so it can be speculated that this was purely a testing Splatfest for the devs. However, it is definitely odd that it appeared later in the game's lifespan, as you would think that something like that would be in the game from the get-go. Marie Among Us. This refers to a specific line of dialogue which is added later in the game's lifespan. After the release of the game Among Us, some of the dialogue from the Splatoon 2 Hero Mode, which pulls from an internet ping in order to get the correct dialogue, started to include the word Among Us. Players weren't sure if this was already there, but nobody could find any existence of it prior. This seems like a very strange thing to add, so people are also wondering, is there anything else which has been added? May there be any new implications for Splatoon 3? Players have been flocking to the hero mode to try and find any new dialogue they can. I don't know what this one says and neither do you, and I'm totally not lying at all. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this one, okay? Don't worry. Goodbye, good night. Thank you for watching. Sorry for if you got this far. Why are you still here? Goodbye. Oh, what the fuck am I doing? Craig sucked dry. Why? Who wrote this garbage? Oh, wait. Why am I doing this to people? On the toxic ink. Oh, wait, what's it called? Huh.